Now discuss about NodePort. Cluster. So currently T2.micro is enough. Denotes California region. This is the dev environment. Right. The default service type. So here, how many nodes are available in the cluster? All nodes communicate each other after creating pods. So by using this service cluster IP, this is the default for Kubernetes cluster service type. Second one, NodePort. Node service type in Kubernetes cluster is often used various scenarios across different use cases. While it's typical, it's not exclusively to any particular organization or any specific project. So its usage is relentless in many enterprise level Kubernetes deployments for different applications. Here some of common best node port service use cases.
పరశురామ్ గారు స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవ్వట్లేదు అంటుంది ఒకసారి.
So here, see now visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, node port service in Kubernetes often various scenarios across top tech companies. So how they are using in the application deployment by using node port service. So this is the use cases. These are the use cases. So here accessing services from outside the cluster means if you want to expose any your application content means so your application is a like you can take online PG programming. So in that application, you need to log in or registration. So a lot of things we are going to do. So in that kind of applications, you need to expose if you want to expose. So via this node port. So by using this node ports, you can expose the outside the world, you and me and others. So commonly used when you need to expose this service running inside the Kubernetes cluster to clients outside the cluster. So this is useful for applications that need to be accessed external users and services. So all services going to expose. If it is internal means we don't want to give you any external access. They're mentioning only specific traffic means organization C classless CADR range. You can mention those IPs means our company employees only accessing those kind of applications we can call as internal applications. So Flipkart, Amazon, these kind of applications, Netflix, so all external applications. So if you want to expose these kind of applications, you should go for NodePort or load balancer. So next, load balancing, although not as a sophisticated or as other load balancing methods like load balancer service type. So ingress controllers. So we'll discuss ingress controller and load balancer also. So here node port service can be used to distribute traffic across multiple nodes. Just a minute. The cluster. You have multiple nodes means if it is 100 nodes are run, it's up and running in the Kubernetes cluster. In each and every node running 100 pods. So here. So this see here, node port service can use it to distribute traffic across all multiple nodes in a Kubernetes cluster. This can be useful for application that require basic load balancing capabilities. Means diagrammatically, if you want to see diagrammatically, this is the user traffic. User. Node one. User hit the so user traffic will hit the cluster first. So here ingress allowed inbound rules. You need to allow default route 0.0.0 means any user can access the our application. So this is you need to provide in the security group level, so cluster security group level. So these are the all nodes. This is the hierarchy. We are running 100 pods. Here 100. So here every node it will create one service port, something called 3000 something. 3001. 3002. The node port. So first, when user hit the cluster, it is going to DNS. DNS will take the this node port. So each and every node having this node port traffic will share to this cluster IP, communicate with the cluster IP. Cluster IP will communicate with the node IP. Like that communication will happen. Cluster IP, node port, and node IP, then containers. Hierarchy. Cluster IP. Cluster IP will communicate with the node port. Node port will communicate with the pod. Pod will communicate with containers. Like this is the hierarchy of node port communication in the Kubernetes cluster. So here 100 pods running in different services. If you hit the user, that particular service means registration. So it will redirect to the DNS. DNS will check the first traffic redirect to the node port. Node port will communicate with IP. So here this service available, then will fit the live data. Here not available, then it will check other node port. Like that, it will share across all multiple nodes, DNS traffic. So this is about complete node port scenario. Real-time uses like this only. But this is completely used in on-premises, means dev, QA, UAT. Locally, we are testing Kubernetes application testing in the Kubernetes cluster. kubeadmr corps installed in local. They are using NodePort. So production always go for load balancer. So load balancer automatically generates NodePort. The hierarchy is so so here NodePort service IP assigned to the particular node 30,000, 130,000 to and so on 60,000. Now deploy. If cluster is ready or not, check once. So if you have any doubts, ask here. Hello, Vamsi, Satyanarayana, Madhuri, Kiran.
Clear, Ram, clear.
Okay. Here 3 nodes are ready. Just go on stop one more server. Which IP you are using? This is 10. Okay. Here 3 nodes are running. It depends of service node. Okay. API version V1 service kind service metadata name Nginx service definition of the s- selector section. So the definition is the selector. So pod label and selector label should match. That's why this specification section is defined for selectors. So here type node port selector app nginx or type I have mentioned in the pod definition file. Type RP means reverse proxy. Call. See, here service port 0 target 80. Next node port. So node port compulsory you have to provide port specific port number. Node. Yeah. See here, check, check once all keywords. API version V1, kind service, metadata, name Nginx service, labels, app engine. This label for a service level. So type NodePort selector, type R proxy. So this is the I have mentioned in the port definition file, same type equals to type reverse proxy. So that's why you need to mention same label here, selector section. Then only pod will
Oh,
communicate with the other pod or outside the world it want to access. So these are the ports. I mentioned name is a protocol is a TCP. This is the service port. This is the target port and a node port. So if not providing node port, it will not generating any node port here. So compulsory when you use service type node port, you have to define here this range 30,000 upper range.
పరశురామ్ గారు ఒక చిన్న డౌట్ నాకు.
చెప్పండి.
ఇక్కడ స్పెసిఫికేషన్ లో టైప్ మెన్షన్ చేశాం కదా నోడ్ పోర్ట్.
Hmm.
ఒకవేళ డిఫాల్ట్ సర్వీస్ క్లస్టర్ ఐపీ కాబట్టి టైప్ మెన్షన్ చేయకపోయినా డిఫాల్ట్ గా క్లస్టర్ ఐపీ తీసుకుంటున్నాను.
By default, so when creating service, if not mentioning any type, that will considered as a
ఓకే
default cluster IP.
ఓకే.
First to deploy Nginx also. This is the Nginx pod. Pod Nginx labels type R proxy. This label should match the selector section, then only pod will expose to the outside world or communicate with the cluster in pod to pod communication. Otherwise, not. You cannot able to access to other pod or outside the world. So Nginx, image Nginx ports. So no note to mention here container port and this
బ్రో హోస్ట్ పోర్ట్ చేంజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా హోస్ట్ పోర్ట్
host port is a target port. They're mentioning already mentioned target port means host port. The pod is created. pipctl get nodes svc and also nodes as well. So this is the external IP for each and every node. So DNS will map all external IP share across all user traffic. If you want to access any service, so by using this external IP, you can access, because each and every IP that node port will assign. So cluster pod is running. This is the pod IP. This pod is being maintained by service. Here I am doing manually this security group section. Inbound. This is the